Now, if you're brand registered, you always can make your own changes. And so then it goes to brand owner. You can make the change if you're brand owner, if you're not brand registered or Amazon hasn't changed it. So there's a hierarchy of what you can change. What scares me about brand owner is even though you may own the product, you might have listed it first. If you get a hijacker that comes on that has sold more product overall, they then would actually take precedent over you, which is crazy. I don't even want to get into the specifics. It doesn't matter. It's the way it is. So my point in all this is you ultimately never want Amazon to make a change, because when you go to them, they're always going to give you a hard time. Except what you're going to do now is you got to prove to them, and you're going to do it right up front. Like I said, right now, they'll come to you and say, here are the things you need to prove. Well, I'm going to show you a way to do it so that's up front. You've already done that. So there's two things. Before I get to that, I want to make sure. So for those of you that have the problem with the title with your brand name having to be at the beginning, try that little tip, see if it works. Let me know. Again, though, if Amazon has changed the title themselves, it may not work. This is really may be more beneficial for folks that are listing a new product to ensure that their brand doesn't get put at the beginning. So I just listed 2 new products and I didn't have a brand issue. I didn't do any of these tips. I just put my brand in, and it didn't require me to put it at the beginning. So I don't know. Eventually they're going to require everyone to do it. So this may be something we want to do.
Hey, it's Mike here, and we just launched version 7 of our Amazon training course, where we walk you through the process of how we sold just in the last 30 days, our first 30 days, over 1,000 products with the brand new ranking strategies that we're now showing to the public. We've trained over 1,000 students, and last year alone we did over $3.2 million online. And if you go to my site, put your credit card away, enter just your first name and your email address, I'll immediately send you a series of free training videos that walk you through the process.
But more important than this, more important than even that, is the ability to change the listing. I wanted, even the product I just launched a couple weeks ago, I wanted to change the listing, and it won't let me change it. And it's because I've sold so many units. I'm only assuming that that's the case, because I don't think Amazon has changed it. But what I did was I opened the case and I said, hey, I want to change this listing because it doesn't match the manufacturer's website. And that's the key. I don't say it's not my brand, or I don't say it's my brand, I want to change it, I own the brand. I don't say any of that. I just say it doesn't match the manufacturer's website. I'm technically the manufacturer, so I have a URL for every product I own. I have every brand I have a specific, I buy the domain. So all I do is I create a web page that looks just like Amazon, the description and everything, but the title is the way I want them to change it to. And Amazon has an obligation, their people have an obligation to check. If you indicate to them that the manufacturer's website is different than the Amazon website, says something different than the Amazon website, they have the obligation to check to see if that is true. And if it is true, they will change your Amazon title to match what it says on the manufacturer's website. Now, it takes a little bit of work. You have to have your website, whether it's Shopify, whatever. It doesn't have to be fancy. You don't have to have like super, like intricate website. You can have other products on it. It doesn't matter, except this product should match exactly what you want it to say. So what you'll do is when you open a case, or if you call them, you'll actually will say, hey, listen, I represent I'm the manufacturer. Please see on the manufacturer's website, www, Tip Top Home Goods, whatever. The listing in Amazon or the title in Amazon does not match the manufacturer's website. Please change it to make it so. And what you'll do is, and when you open the case, it asks you to put the new the title you want, and then that should obviously match what your website shows and what you want it to show. So if you do that, 99% of the time they're gonna make the change for you, no matter what. So it's kind of creative. You just got to make sure that you have this website. It takes literally 5 minutes to create. It's not a big deal. I buy URLs at domain names are $12.99 a year. So I recommend always having a domain name, because you can always point domain names to a main website or whatever. So what I do is I have a domain, but my Shopify is under you know, a specific my company domain, but I buy I think I own iPhonesplitter.com, right? So my iPhonesplitter.com will point to the Shopify site. So when I tell Amazon I need the title changed, I give them the iPhone Splitter, because I'm trying to change a title on an iPhone Splitter, but it'll redirect to that website which has the new one. So that's it. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes it clear. So that does work. It's always worked for me. But it's something that you guys should all know about. It's just a little tip. It just means really just changing your website, having a website, and you could have 50 domains. It doesn't matter. You could just forward that domain that you want to show them. And so in the thing, I'm like, hey, you know, I'll copy the URL. Please go to this manufacturer. Don't say anything except the listing, the title does not match the manufacturer. Don't get into this. The shorter your email in conversation with Amazon, the better. So don't say anything none of that. All they care about is the manufacturer, and you don't have to sell them on, you know, don't oversell the deal. And that's it on that. All right. Any other questions about that? So let me see, a bunch of people said they were having problems. So I want you guys to try that and let me know how it works for you. You guys, you all should have a website. Your company, or at least have your domain. And if you use, I use GoDaddy. They really have a simple, inexpensive website creator where you could just use that. You don't have to, it doesn't have to have, you know, Amazon is not checking to see if people can buy on your website. They don't care. They're not looking at that. They see your domain. They see that that's the manufacturer. They just want to do that. So if you use GoDaddy, there's an easy way to create the website. It could literally will take you maybe an hour to do, and just get it done. And anytime you need to use that, you can show that. And plus, if you're doing anything in the business world, everyone's always asking to see what your website is, and then you can grow your website from there. So. All right, any other questions? All right. So forbidden keywords. All right, so I got to get you guys motivated and up and going. So what, does anyone understand, or has anyone even heard of this term? Am I crazy? Let me know. Let me know if you've heard of this, and what, you know, or what, if you ever had an issue with this. Okay, never, no. See, I'm so glad that I brought this up. So forbidden keywords, there are words that, and this is becoming more and more of an issue, that you have a certain word in your listing, bullet, description, title, that that will create a flag in Amazon, and a lot of times it may just totally make you not index. You could have it in the back end, you could have it in the listing. And so I've seen people where they've had these words, and literally when they go to launch, nothing indexes, because something happens, it triggers it, and until you remove it, it won't be indexed. The other thing I've had is it will wipe out your back end. It'll wipe out that bullet with that forbidden word. And it just raises a red flag with Amazon. They could suppress your listing. So it could suppress your listing. It could create an indexing issue, and also nothing good happens with these words. And let's go through them. These are just a few. Well, there's quite a few, but you'll get the idea. Just find alternative words for these. It's not like the end of the world. But so here are some of them. You never say guarantee. So I'll actually do I'll send a slide to everybody, but these are the words. Now we all use some of these. I know we do. So one of the bigs is guaranteed. That's the first one. And that's for a reason. A lot of people say, you know, we can make it, the last bullet, which everybody uses, and I dislike it. You guys all know this, is I don't, you know, we'll give you your money back if you don't like it, you know, whatever you say. Amazon's going to give them the money back whether they like it or not. You don't need to tell them that. It's a waste of a bullet. And you typically are using a forbidden keyword, a forbidden word in that bullet. So there's a lot out here that are going to scare you. They're going to be like, so this is in any part of your listing, bullet, title, or description, Israel. The question was where. Any part of your listing. If you use any of these, they're technically they're the majority of the forbidden keywords. Just be careful. I'm trying to see like bestseller. That's something you never should be using. Anyone made in. I mean, it talks about that. Professional quality, long lasting. I'm going to show you this software that actually points this out, and this is what kind of got me down the path. We'll say, hey, you're using a forbidden keyword, find an alternative. This just keeps you under the radar. It keeps you from having any indexing issues. You know, I guess it depends on where this forbidden word is, and if it affects the keywords after the word, definitely not before it. So I don't know, however, the algorithm looks at these keywords, they find them. And Amazon's getting way, way more strict on this. So just something to be careful. I always want to keep you guys ahead of the curve. You know, there isn't any of these words. So here's the key thing. Remember we talked about it. If you're not ranking, if the word's not helping you rank, you know, you could probably find an alternative to every one of these words. Free is always the worst word. Guaranteed, on like top notch. Like, I mean, I've used all these words and have never, I don't think I've had a problem, but I'm telling you, when Amazon gets on a like some sort of a like focus on something, it becomes all or nothing. Like they just get crazy with it. And, you know, next thing we'll know, in 2 months, they'll start just suppressing listings. You'll realize you have no sales and wonder why, and you realize that you used the forbidden keyword. So just, you've heard it here first. Try to look at your listing, and if you actually run your listings through this software, it's a free 7-day trial, and it'll point it out for you. So, but just something you guys should know about. The question is this documented anywhere on Amazon? Not the specific words. There is no certain terms of service, but this is, I found this, I heard somebody talking about it, and then I did more research, and then I found this list. I forget where I found it, but it's people that have had experience with it, but I've not seen it. I haven't actually looked on Amazon. I've just heard about it, and I've seen examples about it, and I've read about it, but these are the words. And actually, I don't want to tell you guys something that I haven't proven. When I use this software to see how I fared with this, it also, and this was 2 different resources, it corroborated what I had read or heard. So I know it's an issue, and it's a deal. So again, guys, it's everything. It's the entire listing. It could be the title, the bullets, the description, everything. Could be descriptors. Anything in your listing that has these words is considered a forbidden keyword. Now you probably have these words and been getting away with it. That's fine. We also had friends doing reviews for us and got away with it for a long time until Amazon started cracking down. I just want to keep you guys ahead of the curve. You may never have an issue with this, but I want you to know about it. And you know, that's it. That's all. I'm just giving you a heads up. Yes, everything. I keep getting this. Everyone's asking me. Anything in your listing should not use these words. At least this is a guideline. All right. Any questions about that? All right. So let's go to this. I'm going to try to do this. Oh boy, where is it? So there's this software. It's called. Well, I want you to use this guy. It's River Cleaner is the company, but use this this affiliate link, www.amazonrivercleaner.com. That should take you to their website, and that'll identify them as being part of the Amazon ranking course, and it will help us in the long run. So what happens when you go there? I'll do one thing at a time, because I want to show you it on one of my listings that I haven't adjusted so that you guys can see it live. It's really, really, really cool. I think it's like 27 bucks a month. I'm not saying it's for nothing, but I'm saying that it's not prohibitive, especially because it does other things as well. So this is the website. I'm gonna get rid of me here, guys, so you can see more. All right. So this is the website, and some of the features are that it will go through your listing. It'll look at whether you have hijackers. It analyzes your listing as well as helps you. So so once you install it, here's my oh, by the way, you guys won't believe this. I found a whole box of these stupid things in my basement, like 50 of them. So I'm not going to try to sell them now, but man, I thought I was selling them like crazy. I was so happy I sold out of them. I could have used 50 more, but anyway, so I'm going to keep this listing going. So once you sign in, it'll link to your Amazon account, and it then becomes part of your Seller Central. It kind of integrates with it, and you'll see it adds all this stuff. It shows you this information, but where it really is important is when you go to your description, it does, oh no, forbidden. So it then starts to add things. So this is my description for this, and it tells you, if you show all the tooltips, forbidden keywords, cure, the most, and subjective claims. That's another thing they're focusing on, is subjective claims. I use the word the most, easy, good, great. Remove promotional terms, free. So it tells you all this, capitalize the first letter, and this is just to have, replace percent with percent. This is just optimizing your listing for Amazon's criteria. And then what it does is, once you do all this, like if you just did it, you could press it, it does it for you. It'll just do it for you. I don't know if you should see what it's doing. Like, I'm not gonna save this, but I don't know where Cure is. Cure is somewhere here. Then what you'll do is it'll do the same thing for your bullets. And then if you click here on your bullets, does not work. It'll actually go through each of your bullets and see what's indexed and what not. So this tells me that pack is not indexed. And it's like, okay, well, who cares, right? And then you go to the next one. I mean, this is really cool. You can do this with the 5K too. The problem with this is the stupid getting this to do it. I feel like it's a little bit clunky in the sense that, there we go. And once it, again, pack, large, size, like these are all the things that aren't indexed. But when it's indexed, if it's all indexed, wow. So there's a lot of stuff here that's not indexed for this. Smart. And you just keep going. And if you find words you want to index for that you're not indexed for, it'll, you can just make the change. And I'm just trying to find one that's fully indexed so that you guys can see what it does. God, this is never gonna work. But when it's done, it's fully indexed, it'll turn green, and it's nothing really crazy. But this will go through everything for you, every line. It'll tell you things that need to be fixed. What else does it do? Oh my God. I've left this open, so this is a problem. So this isn't going to work. So what it does here is it also gives you what the mobile preview is going to look like, so you can see exactly what you're listing and the changes. So you don't have to wait for like 15 to 20 minutes. So this shows you everything. Anyways, it's pretty good. Again, I think this is a fairly new company. And there's a lot more to it. I just started using it. See how this one says keep below 80 characters? That's like the new big thing. We've talked about that before because they're adding so many competitors on a page. And we talked about making 80 characters the key number. So just so you guys know, I'm not saying it, but those of you who've been with me already know some of this stuff, and that's the key, right? So if you didn't know that, and you had a 200 character title, now you're having to change things. So you're already ahead of that curve. They tell you the right way to do the listing. It says brand press. That's technically the right way that Amazon wants it. We don't kind of follow that. But I just think this, for me, this just keeps you ahead of the curve even more. It keeps you out of any troubles with subjective claims. Because if this system can do it and find their algorithm could check this, well, then Amazon's eventually going to catch up. So it's just a good way to see if you're indexed, again, on a line-by-line basis. It's also a good way to identify some of these words that you may or may not get in trouble for in the future. All right, so there is a free trial. It's a 7-day free trial, I think. So Marie, I think so. I've talked about like I try to stay to one. I always have like 125-ish. But remember we talked about having the first 60 or 80 being the most important because on the mobile device it's like 60, and on the pages where there's multiple competitors, you want to keep it under 80. So you know how we talked about that. Now you can go longer, but I want to make sure that the most important information, remember that the click-through rate is in the first 80, and even the 60. Remember when we do the I'll open this up so that you guys know I'm not making this up. I know you know I'm not making it up, but let's see. So if you even in my title creator, it's just opening this up. Oh boy. Hold on. So even in my title creator, if you remember, it's small, but you guys will get the point. How we have optimized for mobile device 60 characters, and that's like where we really want to sell the item because over 50% of the products bought on a mobile device. So that's why we have that there. So they say, and now 80, if you're a 36 competitor page, I think it goes up to 80, 48, I think it's 60. So we try to keep the top first 60 because you only have one listing. So you want to make sure that the first number of characters are going to be, viewable on everything. So does that make sense? But I'll still do 120, 125 because when people do click on the listing, they'll get to see more. But if I'm going to sell the product, it's in that first 60 characters. So anyways, and it's a moving target too, right? I mean, when I first started, people would have 200, 300 characters. Then it went down to 250. Then it went to 125. Now it's the 60 or the 80. So I'm not saying it's not a moving target, but at this point, man, I mean, a mobile device is a mobile device. I can't imagine getting fewer than I can't imagine trying to sell a product with fewer than 60. Although, if you see some of the higher selling products out there, I mean, some of them have like a one-word title. It's crazy.
Hey, it's Mike here, and we just launched version 7 of our Amazon training course where we walk you through the process of how we sold just in the last 30 days, our first 30 days, over 1,000 products with the brand new ranking strategies that we're now showing to the public. We've trained over 1,000 students, and last year alone we did over $3.2 million online. And if you go to my site, put your credit card away, enter just your first name and your email address, I'll immediately send you a series of free training videos that walk you through the process.
So is this cool? Does it make sense? I mean, I don't know if this is helpful for any of you guys. I'm actually going to try to reopen this because I keep getting that forbidden and I don't understand what that's all about. So let me try this again. I'm trying it on a separate screen here. Hold on. Let's see if this works. Oh, it signed me out. I think that's why. So let's try to sign back in. All right, so let's see if it works better. All right, so because I wanted to show you some of the, so when you first open it, it actually, oh man, it actually opens up where it gives you keyword suggestions, sort of like what everything else does, but it's kind of a little cool little thing. And then it will show you, because there is some logic about adding sale prices and discounts and all that stuff. But when you click on vital info, that's where you get all your views, what your product looks like. That's really important to have because you want to see, remember the click-through rate and how important that is. That's a real helpful thing. And offer, I don't know about images. I don't think it comments on images, but the description is where the big deal is. And this is where all this information is. And then keywords. What I like about the keywords, obviously, you'll click on it and it will tell you what's indexed and what's not indexed. And obviously food, it's still going to go looking. It'll probably come back with a few more. But 5K does that for you just as well. I liked it. Nobody was really going through and telling me what keywords were forbidden or not forbidden, or some structural things that I need to do. I'm just overly, like crazy about making things Perfect. So that's why I use it. But anyway, so that's it. That's the software that'll help you if you want it. What I like about the free trial is you get it for like 7 days, and if you have like 3 products, just use the free trial and don't use it anymore. That's what I would do. That's probably what I'm gonna do. So thanks, Aileen. Aileen says like a training is so good, a listing is so clean. So I agree with you and I appreciate that, but I've never talked, in fairness, about forbidden keywords. That's not something I've ever looked at until I heard about it. But when I start to hear these rumors, as you guys know, and I'm not just tooting my own horn, that it ends up coming back to be an issue. So you've heard it here first, and I'm telling you, by Christmas, this forbidden keyword thing will be a bigger issue. And I think it'll just mean products are getting suppressed. That's what I think is going to happen until it's resolved, and you'll get only so many warnings. All right, so I showed you guys that. Okay, so reviews. I'm going to go over this briefly. I've talked about reviews a million times, and I think I've talked about these specific issues, but I wanted to touch on them again. They're still removing reviews. Like, it's crazy. I look at some of my older products and the reviews are getting removed. I'm fine with that. Like, I don't even care anymore. On my new product, I mean, I made it to page 1 with no reviews. I now have 4 reviews. Once I got the 4th review, it was like, it shot right up to the, to the top and a number of keywords. So I remember I talked about like three reviews being like like a fine line for them, and it really it holds true. And you can see a lot of people see their rankings change dramatically after the 3rd review. But I jumped the gun. Like, technically, I'd wait until I was a little. I mean, I was selling stuff, shipping it from my house. Like, I was doing stuff that was I was just excited to get this product going. So I probably should have waited for a little longer before I launched it, maybe had that review in place. Because what happened is I was selling while the product actually hadn't even been delivered yet. When you send it to Amazon, it's in transit. They'll actually sell off that inventory, but it's not within the 2-day deal. So people, and anyway, so wait till your inventory is in stock before you start selling it. I always just get ahead of the game. I just want to review the rules of, and I'm not going to go into all this detail. What I want to get across here is you can ask a customer for a review. You just can't ask them for a good review. Most of you have heard me say that, but people forget it's okay to say, hey, could you share your experience with everybody else? You can't say, hey, could you only share your good experience? If you have a bad experience, let me know. You can't do that. You can say, please share your experience, or would you mind giving us a review? It means a lot to our company. I have this really, really cool, I wish I had it open. Like, I've been using JumpSend, as you all know, to help my products. I can't put it on Facebook, but they have this like follow-up series, and I've never used follow-up series until this is like a free benefit, and I'm like, oh, let me try it. And they have this one, it's kind of funny, right? And I only use one. I used to use all 3 of them. I used to give like 3 letters, but I feel like people get annoyed. Half of people don't even get them. And I think if people, aggravated, you're going to encourage them to send a nasty email. So I typically don't do it, but I do this because I like this one. This one was pretty, it was pretty funny. And I thought it was kind of creative. I'm just kind of pull up if you wonder what I'm doing, I'm trying to pull up the letter because I thought it was really kind of nice. So I don't know if you can read this. It doesn't really matter. But basically, it's, the subject is engaging, 1 minute at a time, blah, blah, blah. It's kind of cool. Like, I don't know. And then I'm like, maybe it's not politically correct. I took their template. And it says each time someone like you reviews the product, a little buzzer goes off. Your manager will start the golf clap. The warehouse guy will do push-ups. And Steve, the head of marketing, will run outside and hug the first person. Like, it's just cute little things. And he's, 99% Myrna, the marketing director, will take a shot at tequila. I mean, it's just funny stuff. Like, this is the funniest one. I don't know. I've had people respond to this and get, kind of like it. Anyway, so this is just a review request. I kind of liked it. But I started using that with the launch of this product. I know I've been getting some decent responses. We'll see what happens. The jury's still out. But I found that kind of humorous. I feel like if I read that, I'd find it funny. I find like the company would be a normal company. And I always told you guys you should sell like you buy. And if I received that letter, I'd find it would be a nice distraction from my day. It's not like the typical form letters that I constantly get when I buy from Amazon. It's crazy. They annoy the crap out of me. And you can see them coming from a mile away. So
I've really felt like since I've joined, this is one of the best decisions I've made in my life.
From August 2nd to September 2nd, I generated 15,000 in sales.
I did about 6K one day.
We set a goal of 300 sales in the first 2 weeks, and we met that in 8 days.
Our first 12, 13 days, we've averaged just over $1,000 per day in revenue.
Right now I've got 74 5-star reviews, bestseller ranks at 29, and I've sold in 45 days almost 500 units.
We are moving about 15 to 20 units per day right now.
We were #1 new release on Amazon within 24 hours.
The last 12 months would have been in July. I reached I guess 6 figures.
I've seen the result and I've been very impressed.
Today actually is ironic that we're making this video because we hit our biggest numbers sales organically.
We still made 150% on our investment.
By far, the level of accountability you guys bring and support to your team it's uncanny.
What you guys are teaching us changed my life.
Just mind-blowing and very helpful in helping us launch our products.
We were able to create an entire business from scratch with no knowledge before, really, of how to sell on Amazon.
It gave us basically a roadmap to get involved in e-commerce without having to reinvent a wheel.
If I didn't have this training to follow, I'm sure it would be very difficult for me to research everything and to come up with a process that would work.
The way Mike and Matt teach is really a foolproof method.
The quality and integrity of the program is amazing. The clarity of instruction and the detail of instruction is really easy to follow along.
I've been amazed with how robust and how much information they have in their program.
I get so much information from the training videos, and it's incredible.
Love the modules that I can listen to them again and again.
The steps that are laid out are very much succinct and something that you can follow.
It really is good to just consistently go over and over and over the same the basics in order to get your business up and running.
Everything that you've taught me so far has been useful. I've used a number of it both in this side business and also at my day job.
You guys have been helping me out with the Voxer talks, the live training videos that you guys have been sending me.
Learning that this even exists, learning the process of how to be successful has really been great.
I like how the information can be applied to other businesses, other online ventures that you might want to do.
We love this business for the business model.
I'm just so excited to be selling online and making money in a way that I never thought I would.
I'm just excited to get this started.
If you want free time and you know how this passive income system can work, I think you'll see the same thing.
Ultimately pour into the things that I love, and for me personally, that's my family.
I'm just grateful for you guys. I feel like you're super positive.
One of the things that you guys do is set the tone for giving everything you've got.
You go above and beyond.
They aim to over-deliver. They don't need to do as much as they do, but they do it anyway.
Mike and Matt are just regular people. Successful, but willing to share the knowledge and help us become successful too.